Hey guys, this is Issues with Toddy One Skip. I am Toddy One Skip. Welcome back to my channel, and thank you again for allowing me to be part of your day. There's a snowstorm in New York. It's just now ending, but what else is new? And when I say a snowstorm, it was 2 inches of snow, which still makes it very difficult to get around the mountains and such, because they do a shit job at plowing the roads here. Anyway, I found out some more stuff about our hero, Gypsy Rose Blanchard. Being facetious, not our hero. The thing that gets me is it's easy now to look back and say, wow, I see it with my theory that not only was Gypsy involved in the grift of she's sick, she needs all these surgeries because she benefited. She also stole things from Walmart, her and her mom, by sticking things under her dress while she was in her wheelchair and knocking things over with the wheelchair and then putting things under her dress. Exchanging the scan marks on things that would be more expensive with cheaper scan marks, with the scanning device, so that when it's rung up at the register, it's rung up at a lower price than what the item should be rung up at. So that's thievery, right? That's thievery. That's a con. And that goes hand in hand with this con of trying to get away with stuff. So the Munchausen syndrome by proxy was something I totally believe. But at some point, I think that stopped, and it became a joint effort with the both of them, because let's face it, Gypsy Rose knew she could walk. That wasn't a surprise. She stole money from her mom. After the money was being donated to her, they took advantage of the fact that Hurricane Katrina came, and I think that that's probably about the time that they spoke and said this is something that they should probably do together. Gypsy was probably on board. I think that Gypsy knew how old she was, because I think at that point her mom had to have a little bit more faith in her, because Gypsy was getting older. And her mom also became sick at the end of her life, and Gypsy was giving her insulin, which I guess she could have killed her that way too, but then it wouldn't have really been anybody else's fault. I guess she could have claimed it an accident, but who knows. And then the things that we heard about Dee-Dee, Gypsy's mom, doing something to the stepmom, her stepmom, so Dee-Dee's step-grandmother, and Dee-Dee's biological mom, Gypsy's grandmother. All of that is hearsay on Gypsy's part. So Gypsy has manipulated a whole story that makes her mom look maybe worse than what her mom was like. Listen, the Munchausen syndrome by proxy, absolutely horrific. Absolutely horrific. But Gypsy participated in that after a certain point. I think that they should have both been, doing time in jail. My biggest problem here is that Gypsy seems to think and is convinced that because she did not do any of the stabbing, which is debatable, that she's done her time, that's it. No, I don't believe that. She set some guy up. There is more proof than not that Nick stabbed Dee-Dee 4 times. Not the 17 times that Dee-Dee was stabbed, but 4 times. There's more proof than not. Sorry about that. So they say that I lost my train of thought. I think that there's more proof than not that supposedly, okay, and I believe this, that Gypsy had told, because apparently Nick did not want to do this. Nick had said, just leave. His mom would have been all right with them staying there, okay? So it's believed that Gypsy told Nick that she was pregnant and that the mom helped in having the baby be a miscarriage because of the feeding tube. So where did this come from? So there's a bunch of stuff behind the scenes that we don't know about. We only know what Gypsy has told us. Here's why I say there's more proof in Nick's story than there is in Gypsy's story, because Gypsy has continued to lie and lie and lie and lie and lie, and Nick hasn't lied at all. Nick has came clean when it came down to everything that he said that he did. It was Gypsy that kept lying about the situation. So I think she was in on the grift from a long time ago, probably when Hurricane Katrina hit. That was in 2005. Gypsy would have been, 14 years old? She was born in 91. She would have been 14 years old. I could see where she's getting older and the mom's concerned and says to her, the Hurricane Katrina happened in 2005, right? The killing was in 2015. So, there was plenty of time for Gypsy to jump on board of this grift and not be such a child. I think that everything was fine and everything was good until Dee-Dee got in Gypsy's way. And Gypsy managed to manipulate the whole world. Because we've all watched the show and we all thought, oh, how poor, because looking at it from the surface, that's the first thing we do, is we gravitate towards who we think is the victim. But then when you dig a little deeper, the victim is Nick. I'm not saying he doesn't deserve to do time. He does. He does deserve to do time, but he also deserves some sort of mental health. I don't think he was a bad person. He did a horrible thing. I think Gypsy's a bad person. That's who I think. I think she's a bad person. Her default is bad, and we're going to see shit with her and her husband. Mark my words. We're going to see shit with her and her husband. We're not done seeing it with Gypsy. I definitely predict that. She is a train wreck. And what's the fascination? Do you know how many kids? Eminem. Munchausen syndrome by proxy. He sings about it, talks about it. He didn't kill his mom. Look at what he did. So people want to talk about rap music and stuff like that. Eminem ends up being the role model, because look at what Gypsy did. Look at what Eminem did. That's what, you see what I'm saying? See how she could have left. She could have played that better, but she didn't. She had, I think she's the one that almost the neck of her mom. Because I believe Nick 4 times. He was honest about everything. And didn't he say something to the effect, there are things that happened that night that I will take to the grave with me? Again, there are things coming out, and I think that there are going to be more things that are going to come out, because I think Nick is going to end up talking. Because he's going to keep seeing what's going on with Gypsy and her husband. He ain't happy about that. He's wondering what the fuck. He committed this horrible crime that he is in for the rest of his life. He gets to visit his mom through a glass. His life is, and she's a fucking millionaire. Because she killed her mom. She had her mom killed. However you look at it. And we're all fascinated with that. And I think what's happening now is that we're all coming to our senses and saying, might have read that wrong, right? That's what I think is going on here. She's not very popular. She does not seem like somebody that has recognized what she's done, has any kind of guilt. It doesn't seem like, somebody that could say, well, I didn't do the crime. He did the crime. Yes, it was my idea. Yes, I got the knife. Yes, I talked him into it. I showed him where to go. I put the stabbing motion in and all that shit. Yeah, but I didn't do it. See the difference? I didn't do it. You didn't have to do it because you got somebody else to do it for you. That's why she has $3 million. Like, that's our role models. Like, seriously, because there's children here that are seeing this. And yes, the story is fascinating, but there was a real crime here. A horrific crime. A brutal crime. And the only person that seems to feel sorry about that, to be honest with you, is Nick. The same guy that says, I didn't want to do that. I didn't want to do that. And here's another thing. So I tell my mom I love her. She never says to me, I'm not dead yet. I've been nice to my mom. She's never said to me, and my mom and I have had problems. And I never said to her when she said, I love you, or she tried to give me any kind of affection, I'm not dead yet. That's a weird thing, right? Like, why did Gypsy's mom feel like the only way Gypsy could show any kind of love is if maybe the end of Dee-Dee's life was near? Why? I mean, she was probably talking about diabetes or something like that. Maybe she herself wasn't feeling too good. Maybe they should have done an autopsy. I don't know if they did, of what might have been inside of her system. I think they probably just looked at 14 stab wounds and said, that's it. But seriously, that's a red flag too. Like, how many people is that a response from a mom about the daughter? I love you. I'm not dead yet. Or the last words, don't hurt me. And that was not the last words. The last words were her calling her daughter's name, was Dee-Dee calling her daughter's name. She was calling her daughter's name. Her daughter was listening, but didn't do anything. Planned it. I wonder if Dee-Dee knew that at any time. Probably not. She was probably so blinded by the love that she had for her daughter. Again, I'm not saying the Munchausen syndrome. I'm just saying all the abuse that Gypsy has told us about. I ain't buying it. I'm not buying it. I call bullshit. I don't know who's worse. And then you see the same behavior that she claims her mom did with squeezing her hands to make her shut up and stuff like that. Maybe it was the other way around. I started looking at the way that they were holding hands. Maybe it was Gypsy that was squeezing her mom's hand after a certain age where she wanted to be independent. And maybe, I'm telling you, I totally believe that the tables had turned towards the end of Dee-Dee's life, and Gypsy was just fucking over it. And I don't think she treated her mom very well, and that just shows in the way that she had her killed. Like, seriously, what would it have mattered to shoot? I mean, than to stab somebody? How brutal was that? Come on. And then to the neck? Come on. And I believe wholeheartedly that wasn't Nick. And I think we're going to find that out. Thing is, I don't think that Dee-Dee, I don't think that Gypsy could be penalized anymore for this. I think that she's already been penalized for the crime, and I don't think that there's anything except a bunch of us that would feel stupid and sorry that we felt any kind of sympathy and or empathy for this girl. I hope that somebody does look in. I hope a lawyer picks up this case with Nick, and I hope that they at least give him counseling and in the facility that he's at. And I don't know what kind of life, but he's got to know in his heart that he was totally manipulated. Yes, he did the wrong thing, and he even says that. He even says that, but he says that he would not have done that. Now, Gypsy says, I wouldn't have been that dark if it wasn't for Nick. But remember, she's the one that picked up the BB gun and shot her mom 10 times with it, not knowing it was a BB gun, thinking it was a real gun. And her mom going to the hospital and coming up with a bullshit story to protect her daughter, not the other way around. Guys, it's fascinating because each day I hear more and more, and each day I kind of believe more and more in my theory. So I don't think it's just my theory anymore. I've watched a lot of stuff now on YouTube, and I think a lot of people, I haven't heard anybody say that they feel that the tables had turned at the end. I definitely feel that probably for the last 5 or so years that of Gypsy's life, that Gypsy was running the show, not Dee-Dee. I believe that. I mean, she was able to steal money. How does her mom not realize $1,000 is gone is beyond me, but she was able to, so there was a significant amount of money around. She was able to steal money. She was able to get online. She was able to get an Uber. She was able to get Nick alone a bus ticket. She had already met that guy, Dan, who was old enough to be her dad, probably older than her dad, to be honest with you. And I just think that, again, she could have just left. I think that she was very dark, and it shows in the things that she likes to do with sex, the stuff that has come up with sex. I mean, you can see how dark she is. So she's got that really dark side to her. Yeah. Guys, that's what I think. So talk to me in the chat. Let me know what you think. And I'd love to talk about some other cases that, maybe you guys have an interest in. Please let me know in the chat. And please like, subscribe, and share. And also, you can get me at toddyonesskip@gmail.com, but I'm horrible with emails. It takes me a while to check them. But I do the best I can. And I so appreciate you guys. 830 subscribers. You guys are amazing. Thank you so, so much. Thinking about doing another live, but I'd love to do it about something that we can talk about, not just me answering questions, but something that, we can, exchange, converse. You guys let me know about that too. All right. You guys have a good one. I'm going to try to get out of here. This is Issues with Toddy One Skip. I am Toddy One Skip. Thank you again for allowing me to be part of your day, and I'll see you real soon. Thanks, guys.